Hey everybody, I wanted to talk to you about naming compounds, and the art of naming compounds is called nomenclature. It's a big fancy like SAT word that you can use. Nomenclature, this is going to be covalent nomenclature or molecular nomenclature. We're going to name compounds that are bonded covalently. So I wanted to go in here and I wanted to talk a little bit about where you would see some of these compounds. Look, and so this is the ingredients list for this Bliss Steep Clean Mask. And so you can see we have water here. That's a covalent compound. We have sodium hydroxide. This we should be able to name that hydroxide part, or sodium hydroxide. And then magnesium ascorbyl phosphate. Okay, like those things. We're not going to be able to name that sort of thing all the way, but we will be able to name magnesium phosphate. There's others in here like zinc gluconate. Some of these are natural ingredients like saxifrega, sarmentosa extract. Okay, whatever that is. But in general, you should be able to go down a list of ingredients and be able to read most of them, if not be able to come up with a structure or a formula for these things. Okay, but let's start here with recognizing whether compounds are ionic or covalent. Okay, as I've talked to you before, ionic compounds are those that transfer electrons. Okay, but an easier way to determine this, and this works most of the time, is if we have a metal and a non-metal together. Okay. So a metal and a non-metal. Now covalent compounds, or covalent molecules, are compounds that exist between two non-metals. Okay, and then these share electrons. So if we're going to name covalent compounds, this is what we're going to use. We're going to use this always: prefix element, prefix rootide. And this is for any compounds that are what we call binary covalent compounds. So things that are between two nonmetals that there's only two elements in them. And in order to name this way, you have to know the prefixes, and the prefixes are numeric prefixes for numbers. One being mono, two di, three tri, tetra. So these four are a little different than we may be used to, with the exception of tri, but the other 6 of them, from 5 to 10, are the geometric prefixes. Write those down, have those ready. So when we name this prefix element, prefix rootide, there's a couple of exceptions to the rule. The first one is that the first prefix, if it's mono, you don't read it. And so this is CS2. And when there's no number, we assume it to be 1. And so we would write this monocarbon di, so prefix element, prefix root, the root of the element. The root of sulfur is sulf. Okay, so it's sulfide, so monocarbon disulfide. Now, with this rule for covalent naming, we get rid of this prefix mono, and we would just say carbon disulfide. That's how we name that guy. I have a tendency to write out the name and then cross off anything that shouldn't be there. Okay. Now, some of these things can be a little weird when we write them. So oxygen has this rule that we lose the vowel off of the prefix unless it's di or tri. Okay, so here, this is prefix element, prefix rutide. So diphosphorus, prefix element, and then prefix pent, but it's oxygen, so we just write pent, so it's pentoxide. It's not pentaoxide. Okay, so it's diphosphorus pentoxide. And this is monosulfur trioxide. Okay, because that is because that's tri, we don't drop that vowel. But this is also a mono. The first prefix is mono, so this would be sulfur trioxides. Sulfur trioxide. There are also 3 common names that we use, and those common names are water, ammonia, and methane. Water we know is H2O. Ammonia is NH3. And methane is CH4. Now, methane isn't technically a common name, but it's named not using this system. Okay, so anytime you see H2O, you're going to say water. You're not going to say whatever that is. Okay, and ammonia, you're not going to say nitrogen trihydride. You're going to say ammonia. And methane, you're not going to say carbon tetrahydride. You're going to say methane. Okay, and yes, I will mark it incorrect if you write those things, mainly because the whole idea of naming compounds is that everybody is using the same language for the same compounds. So this compound right here is known world around as ammonia. It's not known as nitrogen trihydride, and people would look at you and call you nuts if you were to say that. So make sure you know that.